Okay.
That was our intro music, and then you gotta go. We gotta get pumped. Get pumped.
I'm already pumped. Hello and welcome to Through the Grapevine. I am Power Fox.
And I'm Freddy Yeti.
And today's show has been sponsored by MJ Cards and Comics over on Bogard Road.
Right by Little Miller's in the same location as...
the old comic book store.
Yes.
Whose name we can't remember.
Adventure Games and Comics.
There we go. All right. In case you haven't noticed, we've actually improved everything here. Hopefully we've gotten better quality and better audio.
We're in space. I mean that's awesome. Keep going. I'm gonna move the space background around, just to be.
He's gonna move the space background around.
Oh, there we go. That's actually a little.
Let's
cooler.
keep that there. I like that.
Okay,
cool. As you can tell, we fixed a lot of the bugs from the first show, and we'll probably end up asking our last guest back to see if she wants to do a better quality show, because I know I would. So
today we're actually very, very psyched because we are going to have an interview with.
Get the image up. Get the image up.
With the creator and inventor of the Omni. If you don't know what the Omni is, you should. Check them out on Kickstarter. We're going to go a little bit more into that towards the button of the show, but we're psyched about it.
We'll be talking to Jan.
They hit their goal in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be talking to Jan Gutgleck, the inventor of the system. So that is very much fun. Stick around at the end of the show for that. So we're going to hop right into things with this month in gaming. On July 10th, 1992, Sega released Sonic Arcade, which, because of its violent nature comparatively to the other games in the Sonic franchise, they only released a select few of the arcade cabinets to arcades around the country. However, because fighting games were really big at the time, it ended up becoming more popular and is now a very sought-off piece of merchandise for Sonic collectors.
Sonic Championship, bros. Wrong one.
Nope, that's the right one.
I know I'm not. I moved the image, not the image. But yeah, Sonic Championship. It's pretty cool-tastic.
Yep, I actually checked out a little bit of it. It looks really cool, so definitely go check that out. On July 13th, 1984, Universal Pictures released the science fiction film The Last Starfighter into theaters.
That was such a good movie. Like, it made you want to play every arcade cabinet ever.
In it, a boy drafted into an intergalactic feat after achieving a high score on an arcade game. It was one of the first films to extensively use computer-generated graphics.
And fish people.
The game was it was supposed to be going along with the game, which was developed by Atari but was never released to the market. And yeah.
And The Last Starfighter.
It was supposed to be developed by Atari, but because of the high price of the system it was going to be released on, which they were estimating at $10,000, it was a flop.
Yeah, it was a flop because it cost them $10,000. Halo wasn't a flop, and it cost them far more than that.
Yep.
It was supposedly going to be
the
first game that was designed for the Motorola 68,000 processor. So we never know how good or bad it could have been.
Yep.
Although none of us will ever be starfighters because of it.
Yep.
On July 15th in 1985 in British Columbia, 18-year-old James Vlant sets the world record and wins the Twin Galaxies Canada Ironman contest after playing the arcade game Joust for over 67 hours with just 1/4 nonstop, except 4 20-minute breaks. I don't know how you take a break from that with 1/4.
Yep, we're going to go ahead and throw up the cover art for it.
Boom and boom. Joust.
There you are.
Super old school, super interesting. If you haven't played it, check it out or at least watch some.
I guarantee you'll be able to find a ROM somewhere of it.
Legitimately obtain.
And of course, as always, you can read these and more historical facts on alteredgamer.com/game-history. Moving on, we've got game releases this month. There is literally nothing.
There is one thing.
There's a
couple football games that are going to be released, but we don't care about that. Look at us. We're nerds. We're broadcasting over the internet. I don't think we qualify.
Well, when they start using laser balls and you can kill your opponents in the game, I'll care about football.
Fair enough.
It's the same game with a different engine.
But Plants vs. Zombies 2, much sought after sequel, has been on the prowl and had some demos being able to be played at E3 this go round. And it's apparently they recaptured what the premise of the game this time is. The guy that always sells you the crap out of the trunk of his car wants a taco, the exact same taco that you gave him in the first game. Yeah. So he invents a time machine and goes back in time. And so you're fighting zombies in ancient Egypt and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Plants vs. Zombies, awesomeness. Apparently, it's still got the immersive qualities where you're like, I'm only going to play this for 5 minutes. 2 hours later, I'm on the roof! I'm on the roof! Ah!
All right. So that's our game releases for this month. We're moving right along to the notable news in gaming this month.
So the first system we're going to start talking about is the PS4.
Because we're actually going into E3. We're going into last month for this month's notable news. So
deal with it. So for the PS4, that is obviously the console. It's
over Earth.
Yep, right over Earth. It's actually in orbit. They did that on purpose.
And that's where we're broadcasting from.
Yep. You can see there, that's the controller. They've added a touch-sensitive display right there where there is the the ice cream cone motion capture system that they have.
Yep.
They added that for the controller, so the 6-axis isn't in the controller, but it's from the eye. Then they added not much different with their station itself. It's more of just a diagonally blocky thing.
Also, right here, there's a light, and it shines different colors depending on what player you are. So instead of having it like go, this is player 1, this is player 2, it's like blue, red, yellow.
To make it even cooler, on the top of the controller, right about there, there's a button that says Share. You push that, and now PS4 teamed up with Ustream, so you can live stream on Ustream your video game playthroughs. At the same time as if you're having trouble, you can ask for a friend, and a friend will come in and play and take over playing the character for you.
So your controller will stop working. Their controller will now control your character, and they will finish the part of the game for you.
And one feature that it looks like all the game systems except for the Wii is adding in is straight-up video capture. So you can video capture and save and share straight to Facebook or YouTube directly from it. The biggest difference between that feature and the PS4 and the PlayStation... Xbox One, the PlayStation 1, that would be
the PlayStation 1, yes.
Old school is the fact that the PlayStation can live stream it, whereas the Xbox One cannot. And the Xbox One, with the PlayStation, they made it simple as clicky, pushy, push. With the Xbox, you actually have to cut, clip. But
yeah. Theirs has a lot more editing, whereas this is just record it, send it up.
And you can actually have players, other friends, just
watch. Like, you can, if they notice you're playing a game, they can just come in and watch you play.
Which is pretty cool. I really like that idea. They're embracing the Twitch TV, Ustreamy-ness that our generation's really... It's our new version of television. We're like, screw drama. I just want to watch this guy rage quit.
Yep.
And then rage quit.
What I'm really excited to see is whether or not they incorporate PlayStation Home into this system, because I actually kind of liked PlayStation Home. It was very relaxed, very chill. I could just go and chill in a virtual house that I made look cool, so it took away from the fact that I'm sitting in a room that's just barely big enough to fit my bed.
Escapism, I like it.
Yeah. I want to see how they end up introducing this and whether or not they like make it so you, like the motion capture does stuff. Like I'm interested. All
right. So after that, I think the most prevalent system to talk about would be the Xbox One.
Yep.
Now the biggest difference between the features of the Xbox One and the PS4 is a lot more than, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, well, Xbox One can be moved now. The biggest prevalent differences is the controller style, as well as the Xbox One will have to be connected to the internet with at least once every 24 hours. If not, it kicks you. Now, we forgot to say this, but PS4 trolled. With the troll face on, the PlayStation guy was like, we do not want to limit our users. We support shared games. And you could totally tell that they had thrown a slide together really quick. And it said, we support used games. And just everybody in the crowd was like, fuck Xbox!
It was great. It was a great moment in gaming history.
But Xbox, one of the new things is they're going to be more of a media center. And people have already heard this, but one of the newest things they released during the E3 conference is the fact that one of the things that their console is going to do is the Xbox Live is going to be almost exactly like the PlayStation Plus. They are going to give you free games. And the sad thing is the free games that they were throwing out there were crap. Don't Starve is going to be being released for the Xbox, for the PlayStation. Now, one of the coolest games that really, the only one that's worth of note, I mean, there were some good ones that the Xbox...
Wait, for the PlayStation or for the Xbox?
For the Xbox. We're staying on Xbox.
Okay.
Xbox is up. Is one that caught both my attention and Pyrofox's, and it's called Project Spark.
This is the only reason I would buy an Xbox.
One.
Literally the only reason. Literally the only reason. Like, otherwise, I would be boycotting Xbox. I was not impressed with the Xbox One in the slightest. But this game piqued my interest. Basically, it's an open-world sandbox game where you create the environment that you're working in, the village in which you start, and the enemies in which you're fighting. So, like, it starts out, they create their land. They go, okay, well, we want to be in the forest. We want it to be a mountainous forest.
Now, the coolest thing is all of this is voice recognition. So they're like, show me mountains. Show me a forest. Show me ice biome. Make it
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Make it day. Make it 4 o'clock p.m. And it changes all those settings, and then you can move into moving from being out in macro mode to going in towards in it and building up a city.
And then you can actually edit the ground farther from there. So like they made it like a little island, and they put it up against the mountains, and then they gave it a water moat. And then they're like, okay, cool. Now we're looking at our character. Our character wants to start off in a village, so we put a village in. And so like this village sprouts up, and then like you go to walk out of the city gates, and they're like, oh, there's a rock there. Now what you can do is you have AI brains, and you can give it to random things, and it'll just become a character. So they like gave this rock a pet brain, and it's suddenly bouncing around, following them around.
Now, the cool thing is with these brains, they have different things, and you can line by line write what every single thing in the game can do. It could be a tree, it could be a rock, it doesn't really matter. Anything you can animate, which is pretty cool. And then, so you can line by line tell it what to do. So with the pet rock, all he did was real quick, simple follow. So it automatically followed him and it hopped around. But, I mean, you can go very complicated and write line by line an even more complicated AI in their system, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then
what was even better was you could change out the brains that certain things had. So, like, his pet rock, like, all of a sudden enemies pour in. And, like, they had a couple of demo ones they showed, but they only used one. So, like, trolls, goblins. They had squirrels. You can fight against an army of squirrels.
I want to see that so bad. But
I wanted that to be the demo
cool
in the
thing
worst
is
way.
You can actually fast forward time in the game to a point, and more than one person, like, you can share your world with your friends and they can build on it, and it creates this very natural evolution of the world. And
because they're all editing the same world that you're playing in.
So the goblins ended up having flight stuff, and it was pretty cool. They fast forwarded 3 days.
They took the rock that was a pet and they made it a fighter, and so like then they go out and they're fighting the goblins that are attacking the village.
And then this one guy's surfing around like Iceman, but he's like, I've got the terraforming ability.
And he's just like growing earth under him as he's like flying through the air. And then he goes, oh man, they've got giant war machines. That's okay. Rockman change into Rock Mecha, and like their rocks seriously.
It's time to upgrade Rockman to his more badass self, Rock Mecha, and it's just so awesome.
Go online to YouTube, look up Project Spark demo Xbox E3 2013.
It was pretty damn awesome.
It was worth watching. I would buy an Xbox One specifically for that game. No other reason.
The Xbox One did have some endearing characteristics, but my biggest thing is it has to be connected to the internet once every 24 hours.
And if you are if you are playing a game at somebody else's house, it has to check in once every hour. Your Xbox. So if you're at your friend's house and you're playing around on their Xbox, you have to sign into your account saying that, yes, this is your game, and then your Xbox has to be connected to the internet once every hour, and it will check.
I completely agree with Pyrofox when Philip DeFranco said, I think Xbox and PlayStation talk to each other.
They're like, we're both going to go in on this DRM thing, right? Yeah, totally. And PS is like, yeah, totally. Like, psych, we're not doing that. Now you look like a douche. And Xbox One's like, who does psych anymore? Like, totally legit.
Now, other than the Xbox One, there is the Wii U. Now the Wii U isn't much new, but they are releasing more interesting.
And see,
stuff.
A lot of people look down at the Wii U because it's like the design or stuff like that. Nintendo has made a strong presence this year. Of the big three, Nintendo has easily put themselves in the second position place.
One of the games that they are showing that they're going to release is awesome. It's Super Mario 3D.
No, Super Mario Wii U or something like that. Super Mario U. It's basically the original Super Mario
64, but on the Wii. And you can play Peach.
You can play Luigi. Peach, you can play Toad, you can play Yoshi, you can play Luigi, you can do 4-player co-op. It's basically Super Mario Bros. Wii for the Wii U without the side-scrolling 2D platform.
It's pretty cool. So the way you interact with the world is very much like Super Mario 64, and that's what I liked. I think they recaptured that. Now, the coolest thing is some of the games that they're actually releasing for the Wii U are hard, heavy-hitting games. Like, they're trying to recapture the hardcore gamers.
Yep, they've got Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag that's scheduled to come out. I haven't seen a release date yet for it. Oh, shoot, there was another one that's coming out. I think it wasn't Watch Dogs.
No, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, Watch Dogs has also been released for the PC. They've got most of the standard heavy hitting games they've got. They're going to be coming out on the Wii U, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed by that. Pikmin 3 came. I got to see some of the gameplay from it. I got to see some of the features they got coming in.
You get to throw captains around like Pikmins.
Yep, you get 4 captains this time around, and you can pick up your captains and toss them just like the Pikmin, which allows for a lot more in-depth gameplay. The enemies have been revamped, redesigned. There's brand new ones. The world itself is new. There's a
new gameplay.
There's a record feature, kind of, or no, it's right. It's a replay system where you can watch yourself over an overview map, pick up all the stuff, and so that way you can plan out better strategies. Like, okay, I got hung up here, so next time I need to bring in more Pikmin for this.
And they designed it for use with the new screen controller thing that they have, the new Wii U controller. I don't know what the name for it is, but they designed it for that. So the mini-map is on that. So you can look around the mini-map and you can move it because you're going to be able to control up to, I think, 4 captains at the same time.
Yep, 4 captains at the same time.
Which means that's 400 Pikmin doing a whole bunch of different things on a giant map.
Now, the fans of the series are going to be a little depressed. Omar will not be showing up, but they said that he will be in the game, but it's hidden for right now as to why. My guess is he's taken over control of the company. I'm gonna put my money on that. I think that Omar has become such an asset to the company that he inherits it, and then he starts sending out his people to go back to the planet to collect money for their company. But that's my opinion.
I think he's dead.
They're also introducing new, I guess you could say new gameplay strategies with rock Pikmin and crystals. A lot of the enemies will be covered in kind of like crystal armor, and so you need rock Pikmin to break through the armor. And there's going to be crystal walls that you can only break through by throwing rock Pikmin at them.
I also saw some flying Pikmin. Now that might.
There's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not there will be pink flying Pikmin, and we haven't seen anything yet. However, if you watch the intro, there are pink flying Pikmin that fly across the screen.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to end up seeing those right before it comes out.
And that would be pretty interesting. It'd be an interesting mechanic. At the very least, probably not straight on flight, maybe like gliding.
I still want to know whether or not they're bringing back the purple and white Pikmin, because those guys added a lot of gameplay strategy.
Well, I think they completely made the purple Pikmin not needed with rock Pikmin.
Not necessarily. The rock Pikmin break through, but the purple Pikmin were like sumo wrestlers. They could lift a lot of weight. So 1 purple Pikmin is equal to 10 normal Pikmin. I don't see rock Pikmin being able to lift as much as a purple Pikmin.
I agree. Also, the way you get into different areas of the maps, they made it a little bit more natural, not like you're jumping on top of bags. You're actually destroying terrain.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more terrain destruction in this one. There's a lot more stuff for your Pikmin to bring back. Your Pikmin will find tasks to do if they're left by their lonesome. So if anybody has played the previous games, you know that when your Pikmin are done with the task, they just sit there. They're by the rocket, they're done. And then when you come back and get them, they perk up and they're ready to go. In this game, the Pikmin that are not being used will find tasks to keep themselves busy. And what we've also seen is that in the release footage, they showed the Pikmin building bridges out of whatever it is they can find laying around. So there's definitely going to be a lot of gameplay elements there.
Yeah, a lot more different ways to get through things versus going down into the Underdark or breaking down walls. Because that was really the only way to open up different parts of the map was to break down walls or get different Pikmin.
Find those holes.
Yeah.
The holes were annoying. But, you live with what you got.
And then the only other big game that they showed that weren't sort of the standard like games that they're trying to capture the audience with, but I think the gameplay won't be the same. Because they don't have the same controller. That's the biggest thing, is their controller system is not... It's not a dual joystick system, which is what a lot of those games are based around. But aside from that, another Mario Kart. Now, it's not another Mario Kart for a mobile thing. No, it is full-on Mario Kart 8, and it looks pretty cool. It looks like they took what success they had from the Mario Karts and brought it into a full-on thing. Anti-gravity, underwater, all that standard Mario Karty goodness.
Yep. And by time this video goes up, E3 will have already happened. This video is supposed to go up on July 1st. It's still June while we're recording it. So all of this information is less letting you know what happened and more our input on it.
Yeah.
To get that.
I gotta say, I think it's gonna be the year of the PS4.
Yep, I think it's pretty safe to say PS4 has managed to steal the throne away from Xbox.
We as game. Well, also PS4 stole Activision, didn't they? Or was it vice versa?
No.
I know they basically traded a big player.
Shoot, Bungie. PS4 managed to get Bungie. Bungie is now working with PlayStation for a new game that's coming out. I forget what the title is.
Destiny.
Was it Destiny? Yeah, it was Destiny.
It looks pretty cool.
That's right. It was Destiny, and Xbox is now working with Insomniac Games for another game. I think it was Project Spark. I think that was an Insomniac game.
No, the Insomniac Games one they had was.
Oh no, it was Crunk or Crag.
No. It was I've got the name of it on the tip of my head. Cobalt Street. No, it was a zombie-based game. It was a cartoony. It had a very cel-shaded look.
You're talking about Dead Rising 3.
No. That was for PlayStation.
Was it?
No, it was for Xbox. It doesn't matter. It was a zombie game. I can't remember the name of it. Sunset Rush.
That's right.
Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive. There we go.
That game actually looks pretty cool. I might invest in an Xbox.
A very cel-shaded thing.
One too. But I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. My apologies.
I think the next thing we should talk about is to give a little bit of preliminary on what the Omni is.
The Omni is a multi-directional tracking system for video games. So think about this. You've got your Oculus Rift on. We've been talking about that on Rats forever and a day. It's the new VR system. It's very advanced, very cool. We would die to get our hands on a copy of one. This is kind of a motion track system that is moving towards the direction of working with them, although we're going to say this now, they are not working with Oculus Rift.
The reason why they started using the Rift is because that is literally
the best VR system there is.
Yeah, as current date, it's the best VR system there is. It's also the best price point. It wins on quite a few different levels, but it's got the best head tracking. Now, they're trying to do such a thing because VR sort of is, it's not immersive if you're still sitting in your chair and you're like looking around.
Yeah.
So they figured out a way to make it so you can move without having to move. And the picture we have up here is basically how it is. They've got shoes, and inside that pattern, they've got grooves. And there's a tooth on the shoe so your feet don't slide left or right. It's a very low-friction surface. So you can walk. And then presently, as far as I understand, they're actually using a Kinect to control the motion.
Yep.
Because that was our biggest question was, now I see the guy.
But that's going to be more into the interview.
But
so we will go ahead and move on towards the interview. There might be a quick jump because we've got to edit things together because we actually did the interview first. So
it's an audio only interview, so we're going to have the same picture up. Please stick with us.
Yep. This is following up with our other streams. We've got a Kickstarter program going on right now. We have Jan Gutkelek, who we're doing an interview with today as part of the Omni project.
Yep.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. We've only got a couple of questions for you, so.
My first question for you there, Jan, is this what you saw yourself doing when you were growing up, like out of high school, middle school, and all that jazz?
That's a good question, and the answer is actually yes. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was young. I wanted to have my own business and be my own boss, but also create something sustainable. One of the reasons why I came to the States, because the United States is a great place to be an entrepreneur and live the American dream. I'm from Belgium originally, but coming to America, was a big step in that. This is a great place to build a business and to start something up.
Very interesting. That's actually really cool. I like that idea. So what inspired your idea for the Omni?
Right, it started when Microsoft came out with the Kinect about 2 years ago. I thought the Kinect would make a big impact on virtual reality. And I started looking for ways to play a role in the virtual reality trend. And I noticed one big problem that wasn't solved yet. That is, how do you physically walk around in the virtual world? And that's a problem that people have tried to solve for the last 20 years. But there was nothing out there that allowed you to do so, to allow you to walk in a game or run or jump. No product existed that was affordable to consumers, that fit in a living room, or was even available. And that's what I wanted to change. That's why we developed the Omni. It's a natural interface to allow you to move freely in your video game, be in the game with your mind and your body.
Right.
Now, does it actually detect like the footsteps at present, or are you guys still working on something like that?
Well, right now we're using the Kinect to detect your walking motions, but we are working on our own integrated tracking solution. So the Omni will ship with integrated tracking hardware and software, so you don't need a Kinect.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So you just plug and play, really.
Plug and play with any game that uses keyboard input. That's right. The Omni is ready to play with any favorite game you have.
That's really cool.
That is really cool. So, what inspired the design for the Omni?
Well, the Omni is a result of 2 years of researching, experimenting, prototyping. So it's been a long process. It's not, you wake up in the morning and there it is. So it's been evolving ever since. And the current design is just, as you've seen in the videos, that's our latest prototype, which works great, and also I think it looks cool.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you.
It was the solution in simplicity is what I was telling PowerFox. It makes way too much sense. Why would you need moving parts? You just need slidey stuff.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, that's right. The purpose is we wanted to keep the cost down as much as possible. So it's just to eliminate motors, eliminate moving parts. And that's a way to keep it affordable.
I agree.
Especially with motion tracking as its core, then you don't even need complex sensors. All you need is a good camera.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep. So, what's your end game for the project? Are you trying to get this into every home in America? Is this going to be like, are you going to continue to try and build on this project, or what is your end goal?
Yeah, definitely we'll keep working on making virtual reality happen. I think virtual reality is the next big thing. It's the height of entertainment. Every form of entertainment tries to get you out of the real world and put your brain in a different world. Whether you watch a movie, whether you read a book, virtual reality is the height of that. You can't be more immersed in a different world than having glasses on, and then with the Omni, actually physically moving around in that world. It's a mind-blowing experience. It's the next step in entertainment. So I can see virtual reality becoming a mainstream entertainment market that is going to be very big. So we want to definitely help it along with new products, improving the Omni, and see what else we can do to improve that virtual reality experience.
Yeah. Now, in the video, I saw that for the VR headset, you were using the Oculus Rift. Now, is that the first actual immersive VR headset that you guys started prototyping with?
Well, we started working on the Omni way before the Rift came out, or way before the Rift even existed. So at that time, we were using these music glasses. And then the Rift came out, which is creating, that opened Pandora's box, if you will. That's now driving this whole VR innovation, and now the Omni. And the Rift is without doubt the best VR headset on the market right now. That's why we are currently using the Rift for all our demos.
Well, and I've heard the head tracking on that is phenomenal.
Yeah, they did a great job, and it's only going to get better from here. This is just the dev kit that we're using. It's not even the final consumer product yet, so it's looking very promising.
Yeah, we're very excited, and be perfectly honest with you, we wish we could get our hands on a copy of it just so we could play around with it for a little bit. We've always been tech nerds here at Rats Radio, so
I really did like the idea of the Omni. PowerFox pulls his computer over, shows me, hey, we should try and get an interview with these guys. I'm like, that's a super simple, ingenious design. I mean, it took 2 years of building it, obviously, but once you got that aha moment, you're like, why didn't we think of this before?
Yeah, that's right. I appreciate that. The beauty of the Omni is in its simplicity, but with many things, it takes a lot of time to distill something down to something simple. It's easier to make something complex than something simple. So that's been the work of the last 2 years. But we're very happy that we got it to the stage where it is today, and it works great, and it just gives a great experience.
So you guys are actually at E3 as well?
That's right. We hosted a virtual reality suite here for the last 3 days, where we gave one-on-one demos to the press. So we had non-stop back-to-back press meetings. We had an event as well this past Tuesday night with our early Kickstarter backers. About 20 people came up. We met, we socialized a bit, and everybody got to try out the Omni. Great experience. We have a nice video of that as well, so we'll be able to release that fairly soon.
We're definitely looking forward to that.
That's really cool. I'm glad you guys had so much success at E3. And then as far as your Kickstarter, how's that doing? Have you guys hit goal, or are you still trying to climb to it?
We hit our goal in 3.5 hours.
Wow. Jeez. That is definitely impressive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now we raised $800,000 in just a week time. Sold more than 2,000 units. Yeah, it's been quite crazy. It's been a fantastic start to our campaign.
I'll absolutely agree with you on that. Well, that's all the questions we have for you today here, Jan. We were very happy to have you on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me. This was great. Thank you lots. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll send you a video for that, the link for that video over the Kickstarter.
Yep. And for all of our Ratters that are watching right now, we will be at the Palmer Garden Arts Fair on July 13th, live streaming the entire time. So drop by. We'll be doing green screen photos and handing out cool swag and taking donations so that we can continue to bring you the content you deserve. And other than that, you heard it through the grapevine. We'll catch you next time, Ratters.